A fucked up son of a bitch. Allow me to explain myself. Everyone lies a little. Everybody does it. Why should I be so hard on myself? I'm only human. The truth can be elusive. In some ways I'm truthful, in others not. I reflexively act on good intentions, sacrifice wholeheartedly in service to others. This is by choice, by policy, honoring intelligence, integrity, spirituality. I recognize generosity as a means to enriching the self. On the other hand, I'm reluctant to engage, to advance or defend my interests, though I'm competent enough to limp along. Some may be impressed by these selfless theatrics, but it's hard to absorb their admiration. I know the iffy ground on which such impressions are built. Deftly political, I'm aware that impressions are gleaned from information received through the senses. For example, we may think we're witnessing purity, but perception may not reflect reality. Perceptions are conjured by our dance. They are the conduits through which we deliver the show. And shows are, by definition, artifice. The divergence I describe between the services I bestow upon my fellow man and the impurity of my intentions in doing so is the essence of a head game I play called guilt sport. Be a good boy and suffer the consequences. Inside you know you're bad, so your good works must be inherently fraudulent. Therefore, in the name of justice, self-administer appropriate punishment. It's the big lose-lose. Revel in it. Like most of us, I haven't the slightest idea how I appear in the eyes of others. There's what we want folks to see and what they actually see. My apologies to those who have known me well enough to get a peek under the hood. The fetid corrosion to which you've been exposed is your thanks for earning my trust. Self-recriminations aside, I'm here to celebrate you. I seek to share joy, to touch you where you live, to inspire and provoke. I desperately want to matter since it feels like I don't. I want you to feel loved, especially by me. Doesn't matter who you are. I'm a love sponge. Have no fear. When we meet, I'll sniff out whatever's lovable about you. Even if it's one miserable mouse turd of not all bad, I'll dig out and glorify your redeeming pellets. My allegiance is ardent and flattering. I'll run through walls for you, run into walls for you. Yes, I make a difference to those in my immediate vicinity. I'm a smooth, enriched energy drink to be consumed without reflux. I'll validate you with the devotion of a flagellant starved for reciprocal approval. I'll bequeath you the store, every item, every time without hesitation. Anything for a moment's reprieve from the lash. This quest for credibility through the affirmation of others fuels my diabolical strategy to control through kindness. And given the hollowness at my core, I cannot self-validate. Instead, I cling to anyone's reflecting even a glimpse of my goodness back to me. One can't afford to alienate those on whom one depends, so I've swum upstream like a salmon against a lifelong current of vindictiveness veiled in civility. I've lobbied, campaigned, manipulated, hoodwinked, and performed to promote a deceptive brand. So if you fall for Mr. Nice Guy, consider yourself played like a harp. My circular MO has been to unwittingly devour myself whole. A friend once referred to it as my cannibal suit. To create joyful and passionate art, I tamp down those very qualities within myself. I cap them, clog them, cripple them. Somehow they burst out brighter after going through this grist mill. Regurgitation of the soul, sculpting beauty from bilious stones at the core of an onanistic struggle. I hate myself, I sang at 25. I hate my goddamn self, you understand? I hate myself. God, sometimes I wish I were stupid. Ceaselessly wary of sneak attack, I kept myself in perpetual motion in those days, unable to outrun the sense of vulnerability doggedly gnawing at my dainty ego. Fear comes first, followed by hate. You hate because you fear. It's a biologically encoded response to feeling threatened. Anyone can hate. Mother Teresa could hate, and probably did. Martin Luther King, anybody. I did, and was hated back, deservedly. Hate begets hate. Cruelty begets cruelty. Lies beget lies. I seek beauty through art born of profound inquiry. Internally, however, I live as a scorpion scuttling across the pitiless desert floor, poised to sting if threatened. Rarely do I strike. My toxic vengeance is reserved for arcane threats yet to reveal themselves. Not a fiber of my being wishes to inflict pain upon another, yet I'm not above plying the gray zone between ethics and expedience. When I inflict distress upon another, I'm exquisitely tortured by it for weeks. Occasional petty acts of selfishness may draw merciless, self-sanctioned reprisals. To camouflage this ceaseless internal tail-chasing, I cultivate a breeziness devised to soothe, amuse, ingratiate. I drop my box of sunshine, then retreat to my secluded corner. This martyred pragmatist, this ever-open-armed, unconditionally accepting humanist, is a porcine hoarder of pity with delusions of untapped Herculean abilities. When I look in the mirror, I grudgingly acknowledge the bruised yet principled scrapper staring back. I also absorb his weariness, which binds me to an ancient suffering. Crippled out of the gate, I found my stride mid-race. The frantic triage techniques of an apocalyptic youth have warped into the calamitous survival strategies I execute today. My adult confidence is forged on a bog of childish insecurity and thus requires constant re-landscaping. I'm never clear of the searing indictments my juvenile persona took so deeply to heart. Who would I be without them? As a child, I invented sports-themed games to play by myself. No team, no competitor, just dreams. Fantasies of adulation affirmed solely within my imagination. Pretend to win, mimic quality, portray any model other than the most broken little creature on the block. Now I wallow in a murky reef of envy, pettiness, resentment. Arms stretch beseechingly toward an aloof sky as the soul questions its right to exist free of contempt and ridicule. I dwell in shadow pain imposed by a cruel past, so I seek to recast my role in an alternative reality of my own concoction. When the world hurts, make your own world. This flawed trajectory inadvertently produces some collateral skills. For example, I can now seduce the skin off a Minoan snake goddess. Early on, I lacked the mettle to exercise such charm. Over time, though, I somehow distilled my snake oil into a handy lubricant for those I had to handle and those I wished to handle me. Practically everyone I encounter now gets a taste of it.